I'm so glad that you decided to press play and connect with us every single Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much for being part of the Akashic Academy family. I think we've got over like 6,000 people now connected on this page. Just absolutely wonderful. We're feeling so blessed here. Now, if you are somebody that has, maybe you've taken to a role model, maybe there's some people that you look up to that you maybe even aspire to be like, or they inspire you in such a way, you're really going to want to take a close look and pay attention to today's show. Today's show, we're going to be discussing all about how you choose your role models. How do we as society choose our role models? Who do we seem to elevate? And how it affects the rest of society and our culture as a whole. This is going to help you as an individual use the discernment in your own life to really be able to choose your role models, your teachers, your gurus, your guides very carefully, as well as we're going to see how we choose our role models as a society and how it's affecting our culture and what it says about the culture we're living in. So we're going to dive into that and a lot more on today's episode of the Akashic Show. Now, just in case you are brand new to this page, again, we just want to say thank you so much. We just want to welcome you. If you're watching us live or you're watching the recording, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that love button, send some of those bubbles across the screen, leave some comments below. Yeah, we're like, is this some music? All right. So go ahead, send some of those bubbles across the screen. Leave some comments below. We already see some comments coming in. So thank you guys so much. And I'm definitely going to invite you to share this out with your friends and family. This conversation is, if you guys have been plugging into us every single Friday, we have tons of fun. We get some good laughs in. But we're also, trying to talk about some important things in the world so that we can also help and assist in creating that new earth, that new conscious living that's happening here on the planet. So go ahead, share this video out with your friends and family, because what we're going to be talking about today affects everybody in our society. Not one person doesn't get affected by how we choose our role models and who we decide to elevate, at least in our minds or at least in the culture within society. So it's a really, really important topic. So I want to say thank you guys so much. I love spending Fridays here. Before we jump here on live, myself and Emily spend about an hour together, normally just chatting about whatever's going on in our lives, hanging out, doing our puppets, which, is really cool. And we always, have some good conversation. And actually, it was our conversation off the camera that inspired what we were going to be talking about today. And I just love getting together with you, Emily, every single Friday, doing our puppets, doing this Akashic show. And you are the founder and the director here at the Akashic Academy. And I just want to thank you so much for being an awesome friend, for being such a great leader and mentor to so many people inside the Academy. So many people's lives have shifted and transformed because of what you've brought to the table. So thank you so much for being here. And welcome to the Akashic Show.
Thank you. I'm just taking a moment to receive that. And thank you all, too, for helping us come together to create this space, to be in this space. Part of me feels like really proud of those accomplishments that you talk about, Nick, and part of me, it feels like is that real? I'm pinching myself. Are we really creating this? And I recognize that while I really love stepping into this role, and I'm proud of the qualities that I'm sharing with the rest of the planet and the service that I'm doing, I really need support in doing this, and you have been an incredible spiritual support to me, an incredible business support, an incredible friend. This partnership is so dynamic, and it's so fun, and it's serious, and it provides space for growth all at the same time. So I honor you as well, because what we're coming together and how our relationship is expanding, just like you said, when we get together for the pre-production meetings and we're talking about life and what's going on, it's creating that level of friendship and that level of discussion throughout our whole community here. And it's just, like I said, it's awesome being a part of it. And thank you guys for being a part of it too. Hands feeling happy and goofy today. And you're absolutely in the right place for a little bit of goof, because that's how we like to start things off here. All in the spirit of good fun, Nick and I like to talk about our favorite comments from the week before. And we like to introduce you guys to who else is watching out there by having a little fun. So, Nick, with no further ado, from last week, your favorite comment and brand new puppet to the Akashic Academy puppet family is
Crystal Valdez. You've been puppetized. Awesome. So Crystal said, being thankful is just an awesome feeling positive. And when I checked out Crystal's profile, she also had, this little comment that said positive vibes only. So I'm digging that, Crystal, keeping it positive out there. And, I love anybody who is, if you follow me on my personal page, you'll know that every single morning I do something called morning gratitudes just to get the day started. It gets my work day started and gets me posting. And I love to start off the day in gratitude, because gratitude is an awesome feeling. It's an awesome vibe. And it's really a great way to seek shelter with the divine. So thank you so much, Crystal, for sharing your positive vibes and your gratitude with us.
I have to say, that is a beautiful puppet, Nick. You did a very good job with Crystal.
Thank you. Especially last week, I was struggling. I had an artistic block last week. I was like, my drawing game is off.
That is true. That is an absolute true story. All right. So my favorite comment from last week came from Tony Coppins. Tony, you are so fun to draw because you have one of the most awesome haircuts I have ever seen. I love it. It is just brings out the kindergartner in me to draw that level of hair. And I dyed my hair this color once, Tony, and I just want to share with you, I felt like a flower. I just felt like things were drawn to me in a way that they weren't drawn to me before. So one, I loved your hair and I wanted to make sure that I puppetized you. But you had a ton of great comments from last week as well. And the one that really struck me was when you said, I was just going to ask about how to get rid of negative thoughts. First of all, getting rid of negative thoughts is a hugely important task, and learning how to do that can be tricky. But I love the fact that you were just thinking it and then we addressed it. It just goes to show you that telepathy is real. We are picking up on the signals with our third eye, with our intuitive centers. And you displayed that in that moment, that you were picking up on exactly what we were about to talk about right before we did. And that's part of the whole point of why we're creating this space, so that we can grow and expand and learn more about our multi-dimensional aspects as human beings. So I love that was your comment. Let's get to a little bit of news so we can dive into this really cool topic of role models today, because yeah, we did have some fun discussing Tiger Woods backstage.
Tiger Woods specifically.
All right, guys, so we have the magazine, of course, coming out again. We are working on our next edition. So let me just invite you to share. If you are a writer, especially use this opportunity to showcase your writing abilities, to share your information and your knowledge. If you're not a writer, take this opportunity to step outside of the box and share something about yourself. Contribute to the community in a way that this magazine gives you a really unique opportunity. Share your personal story. Write us a little poem. Give us a recipe. I don't know. Tell us some spiritual jokes. Maybe we need a spiritual joke column or spiritual.
That would be cool.
I actually really like it.
If you're a spiritual comedian, let us know.
Just the thought of that makes me laugh. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff we get with that. So go ahead and send your submissions to submissions@theakashicacademy.com. May 23rd is the deadline, and I'm pretty sure today is it the 11th? I'm like 90% sure. 11th. My daughter had surgery earlier this week, and for any of you parents who know, when your kids have surgery, it's like you go into the days taking care of them afterwards. So I'm pretty sure it's still May. I'm pretty sure it's not the 23rd yet, so you can still get your submissions in. We also have some amazing new shows that are going to be premiering here at the Akashic Academy Network. Of course, Yves LeBlanc was my guest yesterday on Lightworkers Connect, and you guys got a chance to hang out and meet Yves. His show, Healing the Wounded Warrior, which is going to talk about sex. See, I was so good at saying it, I didn't even melt down off of the camera when we're talking about it. Yves is going to give us a platform to discuss our sexual energy, the masculine energy, how it plays into our society, how it's been wounded with this uproar of feminine energy. So that promises to be a fun topic, and I invite you guys to mark your calendars for next Tuesday, because his show will be premiering right here at the Academy. And the lovely Caitlin Batters, who is just an awesome light. She's so fun to work with. She is a bright light of energy and knowledge and wisdom. She's an accomplished young mom, and she's going to be coming to us on Mondays with Real Lotus Talk. I will be sharing that date of the premiere of her show very soon as we iron out the rest of her pre-production details. But we are so excited to be producing these shows, these weekly shows for you guys here at the Academy. So if you are a light worker and if you have a message that you want to share, reach out to me, hop on my schedule for a chat. Let me share with you what's going on inside the Akashic Academy and how we can support the expansion of sharing this knowledge on the planet with our network, with our magazine. We're looking to create this space, and we all have to do it together. So I invite you to reach out to me. Let's connect. And with no further ado, let's talk about our role models. How did we even get on the topic of Tiger Woods this morning anyway? I mentioned something about Tiger.
Well, I think you were talking about your son and sort of the direction of he was going, and I was saying, oh, I wonder, like, how do we choose, right? These sort of who do we look up to? And you had mentioned Tiger Woods, and that kind of sparked a conversation there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just talking with Nick about exactly how much I'm going to get involved in my oldest son's life right now. He's making some decisions that are going to affect like all of what's going on in his life. And I've kind of been on both sides of it. First, I was like, hell no, you're not doing that. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe. And then I was considering, well, Tiger Woods became this really, really great fellow. And he attributes a lot of his greatness to his parents really pushing him and creating that environment for him. And Nick called me out right away. He was like, well, I don't know if Tiger was a great fellow. What you find is great. And so it really opened up a cool conversation to talk about Tiger Woods. I think he's a good example, because so many of our role models today are celebrities or professional athletes, and there for a while he killed it. He was just like all over the place, and then of course he had a massive meltdown as his personal life and his personal antics were exposed. So you were diving in more to identifying the aspects that didn't have to do with his material success. So let me turn it over to you. Why don't you share some of your insights on that distinction between how we define people as great? Is it materially? Is it emotionally? Is it mentally? What is it?
Yeah, so in our culture today, so first of all, just to sort of set the tones, none of us know Tiger Woods personally, and I think it's actually, we should all acknowledge that when we're talking about, people like celebrities, unless you know them personally, understand you don't know them. You may think, oh, I follow somebody, or I've connected with someone, or I really resonate with a talk show host, a celebrity, a guru, whoever it is. Unless you can spend time with that person and really get to see them in different situations, how do they handle stress? How do they handle challenges? How do they handle admiration? Who do they become when different scenarios shows up? You really don't know that person. And so to really know someone, you actually have to really spend some time with them to truly get to know them. Now, you can get to know what they do, and getting to know what they do and getting to know them is there's a distinction there. So oftentimes right now, so Tiger Woods, we use an example, but I wanted to start off just by saying we don't know Tiger Woods personally. So everything that we have to say about Tiger Woods is simply using just as an example, right? And not so much as a personal judgment to him. Okay. Now, so Tiger Woods, obviously a great golf player, that's clear. He was champions and all this kind of stuff. Can tell I'm not like much of a sports guy. I'm like, I don't know, he was a champion. Maybe he lifted a trophy or something. So, golf, he hit the ball right now. Okay, anyways, so Tiger Woods was obviously a great athlete, a great golfer. And he had tremendous amounts of focus, which came out in his game. But how do we define somebody as great? When we say, oh, this, I would like, for instance, I would like my child to be like Tiger Woods. You'd have to say, well, whoa, wait a sec. Look, let's look at that. First of all, do you know Tiger Woods to even make a claim like that? Say, oh, you know what? I would like to aspire to be my children or me or whoever to be like this person that I don't even know. Mm-hmm. That's something I want you to look at. How well do you actually even know this person really? Not just what they do in the world, but do you know them? Right. The other thing too is, what is their character? Do you just define? And when I say you, I mean all of us. You being as a societal us. Do we define? How do we define greatness? Mm-hmm. Do we define greatness just because somebody has done something well materially? Right now in our culture, I would say that we do, from what I can tell. Oh, he's a great athlete. He's a great person. Right. Oh, they've done something good. They made a lot of money. I'm now aspiring to be like that. This is just looking at material qualification. But remember, material qualification doesn't equal joy, doesn't equal happiness, and it definitely doesn't equal spiritual growth. Mm-hmm. So if you're truly looking at role models, you want to look at them and say, are they joyful? Are they somebody that who are they in their character? Is this a person of integrity? Is this a person that's good to others? Are they kind? Are they compassionate? Are they setting an example that the world that can inspire to from a spiritual perspective, from an inner perspective? Mm-hmm. Or do they just have the outer world perspective? And from what I can tell, especially here in Western world, we are so celebrity or, Kardashian and Kanye and whoever. These people, from my perspective, they've done some great things, no doubt about it. They're great artists. They're great entertainers. But mm-hmm. should we aspire to be like them? I don't know. For me, no. For me personally, I have no aspiration to be like any of them. There's nothing in my heart that says, oh, this is somebody that I want to mimic. That's for me personally, I'm sharing. Mm-hmm. And all we're doing is presenting, how is it that I want you to look at an introspective. How do you qualify who it is that you are aspiring to? How do you pick your role models? And just always remember, whoever you associate with, you become like. So if you aspire and associate means who you listen to, who you watch. So not just your immediate circle, but when you're watching, like for instance, when you're watching someone on television, or you're watching someone on the sports field, or you're watching, whether you realize this or not, you are taking on their energetic qualities. Right. So if they are good materially, but inside their life, they're miserable, they're liars, they're cheaters, they now have no integrity, guess what? You're also unconsciously taking those qualities on, and we should be very conscious about who we're aspiring to be like and who we choose as our role models in our society. That's my 2 cents.
I love that. The one thing that I really love about Tiger, and I was sharing this before we came on the air, was that because we follow golf in this family, we've seen Tiger lift a trophy or two.
Oh, cool.
Literally dominating sport and was brought a new level of athleticism to that game. And for those of you guys who are deep golfers, like the Harrison Kinnaman family, golf can be such a metaphor for life. So really been a big part of our lives here. So that's why we've dove into golf so deeply. But what I loved about Tiger and watching him in his glory days, we'll call them, was he was able to manipulate the quantum field by using his energy and his intention to do his swing in the right way, to get that ball in the hole in a way that was just like crazy to watch. And if you were ever on the golf course, and a couple of times my husband and I would go out and watch him play at Riviera, and you can the energy's palpable. You can feel how this person is commanding the quantum energies in a way that is beyond what normal human beings do. And that is an aspect of Tiger that I really definitely admired. Of course, the amount of material wealth he was able to conquer, that appeals to me. Like being able to be that wealthy and to have that much flexibility to do whatever the hell you want to do with your life is enticing to me. So those two qualities especially caused me to look at him in an elevated manner. But now that we're having this conversation and we're talking about how his emotions and him being able to like control those impulses and or not control those impulses of that desire of connection and admiration, which is obviously what caused the demise of his marriage and his golf game there for a while. I don't know. I shouldn't say that it caused the demise of his golf game because I don't know him. Definitely caused his marriage to fall apart. But we saw a big collapse in what he was upholding for a long time. So as I move forward, I plan to look for, specifically because that law of association is so important, somebody who is holding those standards on all of those levels, the emotional, the material, the mental, and the physical plane. And I don't know, are those people difficult to find? I mean, it sounds like we're looking for Jesus and Buddha and the Krishna here. We're looking for people who can uphold that energy on all levels. So I think it's a really important topic, because even if you don't realize you are being subconsciously programmed or your own energy field is being subconsciously adjusted, it's happening. It's happening by your association and connection with those people. So what do? Do we throw out like human role models? Do we just look to like spiritual role models? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's about.
And where do we find them?
It's just having some discernment, right? It's saying right, the conversation sparked about like, oh, I would like, I would like my child here to reach these levels of success, right? And so it's redefining, and this is an individual conversation for everybody to understand. How is it that you define greatness? How is it? What is it what qualifies? And I don't know the answer. Everybody's different, right? So what do you look at as qualification for greatness? The reality from what I can see is that most of the world, how we as a culture or society defines greatness is material accomplishment. But if somebody is, for instance, if someone is a very kind person in their life, society, like, I'm sorry, but they're not on People magazine. They're not on Time magazine. See, so as a society, we're not upholding that. We're not saying, hey, you know what's really awesome? And who we choose as our celebrities, who we choose as our role models tells us a lot about who we are.
Yes.
Who we vote for, who we put in office, who we decide are going to be our leaders, who we decide are going to be our people in society that we're lifting up, shares a lot about where we are at as a collective consciousness. And I think that's the deeper conversation, and say, wait a sec, why is it that we are giving certain people so much admiration? Why? Because they have a lot of money? So what? Is money defining you? Because if money's defining you, then I would say that you haven't really evolved spiritually, and not because money is bad, but money is one aspect of life. If one aspect of life defines your whole life, then how entangled are you in the material world? How entangled are you to material goodness? Do you see yourself as an everlasting, eternal spirit soul yet? Because when you see yourself as spirit soul, you realize that what goes with you is your consciousness, your character, who you are. What goes with you to the next life is not your money, not your fame, not how many Facebook likes you have, not what's in the bank account. None of that goes with you. That stuff is just temporary. What is eternal is you, your consciousness. So for me personally, and this is just my own Nick's world, sort of say it, I really look at character, right? So that's why I read Bhagavad Gita. So I look to Krishna, I look to Jesus, I look to Buddha, and say, who did these avatars be? Mm-hmm. And truthfully, no one was more famous than these people. Yeah. Right? Because everybody knows them. Even the atheist knows who Jesus is, right? So in a way, right, they have accomplished all material greatness, but they didn't do it in the consciousness of the regular material life. And so there's something to be said about that. That's just me personally, but I think it's what we're presenting here is just, we're just tossing the question out there and saying, who do you as an individual look up to? And are you using some discernment? So I don't think you have to throw away human role models. We need role models. We need gurus. We need teachers. But I think there's some discernment about what should I take from this person, and maybe what should I maybe not take from this person. And it's okay to just say, hey, look, I would love to have Tiger Woods' focus.
Right.
And his ability to stay focused and get into that zone. No doubt he's great at that. So learn from that. But do we take the whole package, or do we learn what we need to learn from that person to enhance our own spiritual growth and development, and then let it be? And maybe not hold everybody so up. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We all put on our pants the same way, you know?
Right. You know, and it's really about bringing the awareness to making that choice. And I can say that until this conversation, I don't know that it's been a conscious choice. It's just been a reflection of whatever my consciousness was focused on at that point in time, which right now in my life, as I'm growing a business, I'm focusing on that material expansion. And as a spiritual enthusiast, so I'll call myself, I really love that idea of being able to like harness and focus that energy and like make it work in the physical world. But from this point forward, because I believe to be true the law of association, I'll have a very conscious choice in making sure that when I'm choosing somebody to be in that space for me, that they will hold all of those levels, because it's only making me better. If I'm making sure that I'm aligning to somebody who's holding me at those higher levels across the board, you know? So I hope you guys have experienced a little eye-opening as well. So many times, and I realized this week, Nick, especially after doing the freedom meditations in your group on Tuesday of this week, that so much of our behavior is happening out of compulsion as opposed to out of choice. And it's really important to start fine-tuning how we can choose in every single moment. And this is just one more aspect of fine-tuning, being aware of, am I making a choice, or am I just being programmed by the input that I'm receiving? So I think this has been a really valuable conversation. I'm going to do an activation before we go. Oh, we got telepathic people in the group. Anne says you read my mind, Andrea.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, sharing a brain. Let us all be our own role model for the good of all. I love that too. I really love the aspect of becoming your own guru. And for me, learning to tap into the Akashic Records, where I can have an escape from my humanism that is still very present at times, and move into a higher realm of consciousness where I can have discernment and understanding from a perspective of unconditional love and zero judgment, has really helped me in those moments when I'm questioning something or shifting something. It's like I don't have to go to another spiritual teacher to find that. I just have to go within and do what works for me in order to connect. And I really encourage all of you guys to move down the path to becoming your own guru, whatever that means for you and whatever way you do that, because that's what Christ consciousness is. That's the second coming of Christ, is when you activate all of your DNA so that you can hold that vibration of being in that Christ consciousness state, that enlightened state 24/7. So that should be the goal, really, is for us all to become our own guru. The activation that I want to do for us today, I'm excited about. This is called a fourth eye activation. And the fourth eye is one of our chakras. It's not located up and down the column. The main chakras that we work with, we have many more besides those that are located up and down the spine. This one's located at the base of the skull, right back here in the neck. And it's known as the fourth eye, also called the eye of God. And you can just use that phrase to imagine if you had an eye of God in a situation, if you had that ability for a higher perspective and discernment, that would really be of assistance as you're moving through your life, as you are understanding things, making decisions. And I first had my fourth eye activated by an energy healer named Raquel Spencer. And she did a really interesting light language kind of noise making and popping sort of thing, which I'm not going to do for you today.
Oh, come on. I was like, all right, here we go.
You thought you're like, yes, she's finally going to do it. Nope, not today. There are many ways that we can do these activations. And I want to share with you guys, please make up your own activations. When we're activating, it simply means that we are moving into a state where we're purposely shifting our consciousness and then setting an intention to bring an awareness to a particular area. And as we expand our knowledge and we learn about these areas and you bring attention to them, you ignite them, you open them up, you get them working for you. So we're going to bring awareness, attention to the fourth eye, give everybody a good fourth eye activation. I can tell you that probably 10 years or so ago when I first received this, the difference in my own perception was very noticeable right away. So I invite you guys to take notice of where you're seeing the subtle shifts of having more discernment and a higher perspective in your life after this. So sit up nice and straight. We want to make sure that the breath is flowing up and down that column of light. Deep breath in. And exhaling. And just following your breath inward to that still place inside of you. To that point of no resistance, that point of no thought. If you find you have thoughts come up, just allow them to evaporate. And I want you to find your consciousness within this space as a pinpoint of light. And I want you to send that pinpoint of light to your fourth eye chakra, to the eye of God chakra, located there, the base of your skull. And sending this pinpoint of light that is your consciousness into that area, we're going to breathe. And I want you to imagine that pinpoint of light expanding with every breath. So nice deep breath in. We're going to fill up with life force energy. And then as you exhale, expanding that light. Good, nice deep breath in. Harnessing that life force energy. And as you exhale, expanding that light. And then one more nice deep breath in. And expanding that light with your exhale. And then just taking a moment to allow yourself to stabilize and integrate that energy. And as you're integrating it into your own light body, I am going to ask you to set an intention to integrate it into the crystalline grid of the planet as well. And the crystalline grid runs below our feet. And as we give this energy to the crystalline grid, what we're doing is we're making this level of awareness available to anyone else on the planet who wishes to tune into it. Giving that energy back to the planet. And then with one more breath, releasing the meditation, allowing yourself to follow your breath back outward, back to this present moment in the room that you're in. Coming back, wiggling your head around, fingertips, toes, come back slow. Awesome. Yeah, I opened my eyes to a cool comment here from Kim. So true. Eyes in the back of our head. Oh, Rhonda, yep. Eyes in the back of the head. Awesome. Kim says she's never heard of this before. I had never heard of it either when the first time I experienced it. So I know it's fun to learn new things and be like, wow, that was cool. How's that for you, Coach Nick?
Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful. When most of us think of the chakras, we think of the 7 main chakra systems. But you got to understand that the body is considered, like in the yogic understanding of life, is that the body is made up of actually there's 114 different energetic points or chakras. 2 of them being outside the body, 4 of them being there's nothing. If you're here alive in the human body, they're working, and that leaves actually 108. it's 108 chakras, which this number 108 comes up a lot in spiritual texts and spiritual scriptures from around the world. So we talk about the 7 main chakras, but in actuality, there are 108 chakras, or 114 in total, 112 within the body, 108 that you can do something about. And so there are many, many different energetic points, 72,000 nadis, or interjection points within the body that make up the human system. And so activations, or any type of yoga, if it's a legit yoga system, it's about aligning your geometry of the body with the cosmic geometry, right? So there are many different activation points within the body that you can open up. So wonderful to explore these different modalities and these different ways of opening up our energy and aligning ourselves with the cosmic energy and cosmic geometry.
Yep, it's like learning to use our being as our technology, which I'm really doing too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for another episode here of the Akashic Show. This has been a fun time hanging out with you guys, as always, on Fridays. Mother's Day coming up this weekend, so make sure you send your mama a little something. I totally forgot. My mom actually sent me a present, and I haven't sent anything yet. Sorry, Mom. I love you. Love you anyway. And of course, this weekend, we always have lots going on Sundays at the Akashic Academy. We have spirit sessions, a view of the light. The ladies have something very special in mind for you on Mother's Day. Kathy Hoymeyer is traveling this week on Mother's Day. She's going to be with her family. So we love you, Kathy. Thank you for all of the wisdom that you share. And we wish you a really great week off and connecting with your fam. And then, of course, the amazing Janelle Cameron, who brings us the Cosmic Ascension Report every Sunday night. So be sure to hang out with us here on Sunday. Hang out with us and hang out with your mom. And we'll see you guys back here again. Have a great day.